Okay, everybody, let's recap what we did for the day today. So today we're talking about transformations. Transformations, just like the cartoon, it's the changing shape of a graph. That's all. We're just going to change a shape of graph. We're multiple, we're going to do more than one, okay? So we looked at this first example, and we recognized the blue graph was x cubed. I mean, this is the x cubed. 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8. This is definitely the parent function of x cubed, okay? And then we looked at this second graph. It looked like this graph had been moved. We noticed that it had gone down 4, so it went down 4, and it's also taller. So I went from a value of 0 to about 3 instead of 1. And so I noticed that the values are all going to be tripled. So g of x then, this new equation is going to be 3 times my parent function and then down 4. So here's what we said. If you want to make f of x, take g of x, stretch by 3, and then take it down 4. So this would be the equation for f of x in terms of g of x. Okay, then we looked at b. We recognize this had to be an x to the 4th equation because it went from 1 to 16, which is, 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. Had to be x to the 4th. And then I looked at f of x. Okay, here's f of x. So I took this, and obviously it is upside down. So we know that negative f of x is reflection over x axis. Okay, and that's what I did. I took it, flipped it upside down. And then it turned out to be 1/16 as big, because instead of 1, 1, it was 1 negative 1/16. Okay? So then f of x is equal to negative 1/16 of g of x, or negative 1/16 x to the 4th. Okay? We're looking for the transformation from g to f. Okay? Now, then we looked at this one, and we noticed that this is definitely an x to the 4th equation, but it had been shifted 2 to the right. So we know anything on the inside is the opposite. So here's our g of x. It is x minus 2 to the 4th. So then we took this function. Okay, that's the blue. That's the equation of the blue function. And it shifted back a total of 5. We went from 2, and we went all the way back to negative 3. So it went back 5 to get us right there, okay? So anything on the inside is going to be just the opposite. Oh, that's a plus 5. G of x plus 5 is going back 5. And then what we noticed was then, and that's the same thing as an x plus 3 to the 4th power. Okay. Then on these, we just had to look at what was going on as far as, we don't have to graph it. X to the 5th does look like this, but we know it's going to be this first number. This number on the outside affects the stretch, so it's a stretch, a vertical stretch of 1/2 or a shrink. We also know that the negative on the inside, we know that f of negative x is going to be a reflection over the y-axis. So we knew that. So then we knew that we had a vertical shrink of 1/2 and a reflection over the y-axis because of that negative right there. Okay, then again on b, we know it's x to the 4th, looks like that. We know it's going to be a stretch of 2. It's got a 2 here, so it's a vertical stretch of 2. And then it's going to be moved 3 to the left. Remember, it's always the opposite of the inside. So it's going to be a horizontal shift 3 to the left. We looked at c, and 3 things happen with c. 1, because of the negative here, it's a reflection over the x-axis. It's upside down. We know also that it was shifted 2 to the right, because the minus 2 is the opposite to the right, and then it was moved vertically up 4. Okay, so that was what we talked about. As far as homework, I assigned pages 203 and pages 204. Okay, and we also looked at a math. Yeah, so we'll look and talk about this tomorrow. Okay, that's all I got.